everyone, this is Courtney from Ruby Red Farm. Today's video is going to take you through the next week of our lives, hopefully diving into our first real week of spring. Chickens, get out of here! Get! So it has been a pretty crummy month when it comes to weather around here. March and April are notoriously unpredictable here in Indiana, but this month we've had the added bonus of quite a bit of flooding that's hit us. And so between all the rain and the fact that we have 3 nights this week forecasted to get below freezing, we've really had to pump the brakes on a lot of our spring plans that we at least kind of had hoped to accomplish by now. In general, by now, I had really hoped to get a lot of the broccoli and cabbage and things like that outside. We had hoped in a perfect world to be able to have tilled our garden by now. We don't till much, but we do till in the manure from last year, and we just get the weeds under control. We haven't been able, of course, to do any of that because we've been having massive amounts of rain. I know Kentucky got it even worse than we did. I think we ended up getting between 6 and 8 inches of rain this past week. And obviously that's just not a good time to be tilling. Thank goodness our property, it's an old house and they built it the right way. It's up on a hill. So our home is fine. Our property overall is fine. It drains pretty well. But the garden is a sopping wet mess. And it's just really made it hard for us to accomplish what we had as our on-paper plan for all this stuff we're trying to accomplish this spring. So instead, I really had hoped to get these guys straight outside, but I am going to go ahead and transplant them. With that weather problem comes our bigger issue, which is the live animal. If a broccoli plant doesn't do well, it is what it is. But we have live birds that we really do need to get moved to their next stop, and we just have not been able to do that. So at the moment, we have been able to thankfully sell quite a few of our teenager chickens. So we've bought about 250 laying hens this spring. We kind of had thought that our hens were not laying as well, but if you remember from a previous video, we mentioned that the feed was kind of an issue for us last year. Our feed, we don't think had quite enough protein in it from the mill we were getting it from, and so we had switched feed suppliers. Well, last year, even at the very best of weeks, the adult hens that we have now were probably laying 11 or 12 dozen eggs a day. Well, as soon as the weather broke this year, they have just come out like a cannon, and they've been laying 14 to 15 dozen eggs a day consistently. And so we sell them, don't get me wrong, but we realized that the 250 chickens that we have waiting on deck, so to speak, we don't actually need that many chickens. And so we kind of made a quick pivot and decided instead to sell those just to people that we know. We are not raising chickens for trying to sell them, but we have enough friends that raise chickens that could use, 10 or 12 birds. Shoot, I had somebody come and buy one. Okay, one chicken. Either way though, we got all those chickens moved and we ended up selling, I'm pretty sure it ended up being right about 80 birds. I'd say at the moment we're probably down to about 150 chickens out there in the coop waiting to go outside. I feel much better about 150 chickens. That I can handle. And that I think we'll be able to sell come June when they start laying eggs, because the farmer's market will start in June. So we ended up moving them into what is our older coop. Our older coop then holds pretty much right at 150 birds. So they're going to be maxed out once they get to adult size. They're not quite to adult size yet, but they're getting very close, as you can imagine. So moving them is on the to-do list this week. On top of that, we have meat birds. So right now we have 75 meat chickens in the garage. They are in a container that we use for storage. They are out of space. They are definitely getting too squished in there. This is our very earliest first batch of the year. And unfortunately, that means we have to keep them inside just a little bit longer because of safety. We have found that our meat chickens just do not do well under about 45 degrees, and obviously it's going to get a lot colder than that still. The trouble though is even a heat lamp doesn't really seem to be enough on wet, cold days, which is all we've had lately around here. And so we have the spot ready, we have everything planned, we are just waiting on the weather. And so hopefully here in the next couple days of footage, you'll see us get those guys outside too. They're again very squished, very cramped. We're changing their bedding about 2 times a day and feeding them and watering them and keeping them as healthy as we can, but they're not designed for that. We do not like containing them that way, and so we can't wait to get those guys outside. Other than that, the laying hens are doing great. We have not ordered pigs yet, and we still don't even have butcher dates yet. So we just have a lot of planning to do for this season, and we'll be doing a lot of that this week. Hoping again to get a few things out into the garden, even if it means I just take the stirrup hoe and kind of get a small area. I need to get radishes started, need to get a lot of these crops outside. So huge things happening. We are kind of standing at the finish line right now, getting ready for spring. I'm gonna get some work done here, but stay tuned, and we're gonna take you through the next few days now though of getting some things accomplished here on the farm.
New hope.
We had to move this because they're coming tomorrow to fix our driveway. Our driveway's a mess and they're gonna redo it for us. We've waited 8 years, it was finally time. Guess this will be their nursery for a little while. These birds are doing well. They're really getting a lot bigger now. And we cannot wait to get them out of here. They're getting a little cramped. It's not as bad as it looks, but they're definitely getting a little cramped. Give them a little ledge there, and they have been using it. All right, it is Friday night, and because we live such an exciting life, we're at the house getting some chores done. I just got the teenager chickens all taken care of, and the laying hens, got the eggs collected. Our meat birds that we moved outside, they are right over there. They're okay. I mean, they're surviving, but they are not digging it. Tonight's low is 32. It's supposed to be the last really cold night for a while. Just cannot catch a break in the weather right now. We got our driveway resurfaced this week, which apparently if you're an adult is a very exciting thing. And he is working on loading up a bunch of scrap metal and planning on going to the recycling center in the morning. So lots of little stuff getting done today, and then I'm gonna go start some more seedlings. Good news on that front, we actually had our taste test with the restaurant we're hoping to sell lettuce to, and their response was, and I quote, "no comparison," said that our lettuce was far better than anything they got from the suppliers, and they were paying significantly more for it. So really excited though to get to supply lettuce and eggs, if nothing else, to a local restaurant. It's kind of a big deal for us. And we are going to be getting some real work done this weekend. No matter how cold it is, we got stuff to do. So more to come the next couple days. All right, it is Saturday morning. Quick check on the meat birds here. Got them moved to some newer grass. Gonna restock their feeder. Get in some fresh water. They're growing really well. It is still way too cold for them, so we're gonna cover them back up with the tarp here, and they've got the heat lamp on them, but wanted to give them some fresh air for just a minute. Got a whole bunch of laying hens out today. I don't know what their deal is. And right now I'm actually gonna go over and spend some time out in the garden. So lots to do today. Of course, because it's spring, it means it's gonna be super windy out here, but I'm gonna get the last few things cleaned up out of the garden. It is still very muddy. I had wanted him to maybe till a little patch for me to plant onions. I don't know if he'll be able to do it with even the hand tiller, but there are some areas that are drier than this one, so maybe we'll get lucky. Anyway, I'm gonna pick all this up and hopefully get our first items into the garden today. I bought this last year just to try it. It actually worked pretty well. I just got lazy and forgot about the stuff that was under it. Very much an out of sight, out of mind kind of a thing. But I probably will use it again this year because it's really handy for things like lettuce that don't take up much space. As you can see behind me, I did not get a chance to take out our dead tree. It is still on the to-do list, but it's not going to happen before spring now. We did cut quite a few limbs off of the tree, though, so I'm going to get those cleaned up and out of the way. Yeah, this tree died on us a couple years ago, I think just naturally. It had been out here for about 30 years. It ran its course and it died on us a couple years ago, so aren't going to be able to get it out of here this year, but we did trim it up quite a bit so we won't hit our heads on it, so that'll be nice at least. And grab some of this bulkier brush. It's not going to break down anytime soon, so we'll go ahead and just burn it. A lot of this is actually the marigold plants. They were humongous from seed last year, and we'll plant them again this year soon. I think he decided to go ahead and do the other patch, but I'm so excited I'm going to be able to get almost everything that needs to come out into the ground this weekend. I left for an hour, came back to this. Yay, look what he did for me. He got about a 15-foot swath all the way done for about 45 feet. Yay! All right, I'm gonna get to work now. I am gonna transplant some of the starts that I've got, and then I'm hoping to also plant some radishes at the very least, but hopefully some carrots and maybe snap peas later in the week as well. So time to get to it. All right, for this area here, one thing we're starting this year is we're gonna really try a lot harder to use mulch or some kind of ground cover. The kids ended up busting quite a few bales of our hay last year. After reading a soil handbook, I am actually okay with using hay as mulch. It's a decent option and we have it. And this hay is a little bit broken down because it was on the ground and got damp and kind of went through a process all through the winter. So we're gonna spread the hay over most of this area, then do the transplants. I think that'll make it a lot easier. Now I'm not gonna mulch over the areas I'm planting seeds because I need to make sure they have sunlight. But as soon as those pop up, we'll mulch next to them. But let's go ahead and get this first, probably 4 feet here covered in hay. All right, Elle, come help me. Really light.
Right here?
Yep, spread it out though. The biggest advantages to using hay are that it's going to block the sunlight, which helps eliminate weeds, but it also helps to retain moisture and a little bit of heat, which is really helpful in these early seasons. But again, for us, the biggest advantage is that we already have it. Good job, Ellie.
Are we gonna do more?
Yep. Alright, so we're in the greenhouse. I'm going to get this broccoli out for sure. And probably quite a few of this cabbage, probably quite a few of these cabbage plants as well. I have a couple that just did not do well. I waited too long to transplant them. I'll baby them in here for a little while, but most of this is really doing great and it's ready to move out. Lettuce that's in here is doing great as well. We actually harvested for the first time this week and it tastes amazing. I'm gonna open up some windows though, because even though it's kind of a crisp day, about 50 degrees out, it is probably about 80 degrees in here. So we're gonna go ahead and open up a window or two, let the fans have a little bit more of an inflow from the windows, and get it a lot cooler in here. I'm gonna go ahead and water these plants a little bit before I transplant them. They get dried out pretty quickly in the greenhouse, so I want to make sure the dirt's nice and moist so I don't lose any roots as I transplant. These broccoli plants look great though. Broccoli plants get actually pretty darn big, and so I'm probably going to end up doing them 1, 2 here over this 4-foot swath, and then I'll do that all the way down. All right, I'm going to go ahead and dig a hole, basically just as big as the seedling I'm about to put in here. This is, again, a good job the kids can help with. They're going to practice getting them out of there for me, and they know to be very careful. So I'll take Ellie. She got hers out first. These are kind of that sweet spot where they've just barely started to show some root signs. I'm going to just gently pull on these, loosen those roots up so they know they can grow outside of that square shape, and set them down in here. Hold it by the dirt, not the plant. Okay, ready for the next plant. Thank you. Same thing, I'm just going to pull these little roots out just to stimulate a little bit more root growth. Set it in there. Broccoli I'm planting even with the ground. I don't have to plant it deep or anything, and these are nice and strong, so I don't have to worry about them falling over. And then cover it up with the hay for weed control. I'm gonna go ahead and repeat this down the process. And as you can already see, there's a chicken behind me. We're gonna have to put netting up, I think, around the garden this year. We cannot have the chickens in our garden this year.
They're gonna eat the plants.
They are. All right, let's keep going, guys. All right, show us how you get them out. So you're gonna squeeze, tip it over, and it should come right out. Perfect. Sure you don't want me to do it, though?
I found a wormy.
Need a worm. Woo. It's always a sign of a nice, healthy garden.
Can I go feed it to the chicken?
Put it back. It's gonna. How about we let it feed the broccoli instead of the chickens? Thank you, sir.
If we find worms in the garden, that means that the garden is healthy, and we've already found probably more than 5.
All right, I got the whole row done. I got all the broccoli and cabbage planted that I was hoping to today. The kids were a huge help on that part. Next, I'm gonna work on trying to plant some Walla Walla onions. I did not mean to do this, but I ordered live plants. We got them about a week and a half ago, but the weather has been far too wet to plant them. It's finally a decent day. I'm gonna go ahead and plant these very shallow on onions. The deeper you plant them, the bigger the risk of them rotting. And so because we have clay soil that doesn't drain super well, we have to plant ours really, really shallow. We'll get those planted and put some hay beside those as well to help with the weeds. All right, so these were the live plants. I have watered them a couple times to keep them a little bit healthier. I'm gonna go ahead and get these in the ground. These onions, as a general rule, get really big, so I'm gonna be planting these about 6 inches apart. We're taking one of the bigger plants. So one plant, put it just barely in the ground.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a little bit of dirt around it, just enough to support it so that it stays upright, and that's it. Can you guys do that?
Yeah.
Grab the whole thing, go down there. Just plant one at a time, about 6 inches apart. So take your hand, Gaby, take your hand, spread it way out, and go at least that far apart, okay? I have never planted live plants before, so I'm excited to see how these turn out. I usually buy onion sets, and they do really well. I have tried onion seeds and had 0 luck, so Maybe someday I'll get better at onion seeds, but for now we're gonna stick with either sets or live plants. These have been an interesting experience, and again, there are a bunch here, so I'm gonna be spending a long time putting these things in the ground. That is a big one. All right, we got a long way to go. We're gonna go ahead and get the rest of these planted. As you can see, the chickens have discovered the loose dirt. So we're gonna probably, for sure, have to put netting around the garden or they're gonna end up eating everything we just planted. So we'll try to run them off. But for now, we've got lots of planting to do. Alrighty, the kids and I got these all planted. It was very much a many hands make light work kind of a situation. We're gonna go ahead and cover this all with hay as well. The onions should be strong enough to grow through it. Hopefully the weeds will not be. Thank you, sir. And then I'm gonna get out my seeder and plant some radishes. Thank you, Gaby. You are done. We'll go and have dinner in a little bit, buddy, okay?
I can?
Go ahead. You guys can go play. Alrighty, time to bust out my earthway seeder. I have not used it yet this year. We go ahead and plant some radish seeds and hoping to get 1 or 2 rows of this. We sell radishes like crazy at the farmer's market, and we have got 6 weeks until the market starts. I want to go ahead and get some planted just to make sure I have them ready by then. When it's cooler, they grow a little bit slower. So again, I'm going to go ahead and plant a whole row of radishes here. Well, this thing's not working very well. I'm gonna just abandon ship and plant these by seed until I can figure out what's going on with it. Chicken, get out of here! Get! Chickens, go away! Alrighty, that's all I'm doing as far as work goes today. I'm gonna stop for dinner and take a breather. I got to sing at church in the morning, and then after church I'll come out here and try to get a few more things in the ground. Right now though, I have to get the netting up because these chickens are attacking my garden. So get that done and then take a breather. Not working. The chickens are attacking my garden.
So I think I'm gonna put up like a 5-foot tall snow drift net around the garden. I think that should be sufficient.
We're gonna have to do something because they already came through and ate like 4 or 5 leaves off when I turned my back for just a second. So yeah, that's not gonna cut it this year. We need every plant to count. So
yeah,
we're gonna put this up for now and hope it at least keeps most of them out. And then cross our fingers, I guess. It's like a garden playpen. All right, guys, it is now Sunday, and I am letting some of my starts take a nice little field trip here. So letting these guys harden off a little out here in the sun. It's a beautiful day today. A little breezy, but perfect for them to get used to the wind. And we'll let them hang out here. It's gonna be about 65 out today, I believe. He's got a fire going at the giant tree that we're never gonna actually burn. But he's got a fire going over there. Hopefully gonna clean out the chicken coops today. And then I have a date with a box of potatoes and onions. So lots to get done. Out here in the garden, everything looks like it fared really well overnight. I do need to get a more thorough soaking in today. It didn't really get watered all that well yesterday, so I'm gonna bring the hose out. But everything else is looking great. The chickens did get in here, and so we're probably gonna have to look into some kind of fencing option. But for now, this is just gonna have to work. I am gonna feed our rogue barn chickens that keep getting out. I'm gonna give them some feed so maybe they're not as desperate and willing to jump over the net. But at least we got, for the most part, the majority of the animals out of the garden. Everything survived, which was all I was hoping for. So I'm gonna plant our first row of potatoes. I won't plant all of them, but just enough to get a first batch going. and as well as onions. I've got 3 different types of onion sets, and I'm gonna go ahead and get those in the ground. And again, not every one of them, but most of them, just so that I can get a good start for the farmer's market. My kitty's upset. She can't get in here to hang out with me. She'll find a way in, I'm sure. Alright, I got my 3 different types of onions here, yellow, white, and red. I'm going to plant just a few of each, probably about 10 of each, about a half a row here, and then plant the rest once it warms up a little bit more. As I mentioned in yesterday's part of the video, I really do prefer onion sets. These are a lot easier to work with, but on top of that, I just feel like I've had better success with these. I am just barely putting these in the ground root side down. I have found that if you put them even all the way in the ground, they grow too much underground and they end up rotting. All right, when we dig potatoes, we like to put a little bit of a trench like this one here. So I am going to go ahead and plant some potatoes. We don't really get that many potatoes out of our garden. For one, we just don't sell all that many. We like to have a few just in case people want to complete their meal. But on top of that, we have someone that comes to the market that is a potato farmer. That is all he does. And he's already planted 1,700 pounds of potatoes this year. And so the 10 or 15 pounds that I have obviously is nowhere near going to be able to compete with his pricing and just his availability. We end up buying off of him by the end of the summer. And so we grow a few, again, just to kind of make sure that our loyal customers at least have some potatoes from us. And then if you have a few for us, that I can literally come in the backyard and dig up for dinner. Gabe always likes to help me dig this trench. All right, bud, go ahead. There you go. So I prefer this method of digging a trench for a couple of reasons. One is that it actually loosens up the dirt so that the potatoes can grow a little bit better with our hard clay soil. If you have too hard of dirt, the potatoes just really don't ever grow and get to decent size. We've had great luck with potatoes, but we've been using this method and I think it helps. The other reason we do it is then as potatoes grow, if you can keep the leaves covered, as it starts to grow, it'll actually grow more potatoes. And so we pile the dirt up beside this trench, and after they've come up and gotten about a foot up, then we push all of that dirt over top, giving the potatoes more cover and more initiative and more motivation to grow potatoes underground. So we'll get this done. We're probably going to do about a half a row today, and we'll get these potatoes started. All right, now put the next one about here, okay?
Okay.
Right here. Yep. There you go. All right, covering them up with a couple inches of soil here. Keep them nice and warm through these last 2 freezes, and they should come up in a week or 2, hopefully. Yep, just like that. You got it, kiddo. Go ahead and try it. We'll see if it grows. Do you remember what those are called?
No?
An eye.
Oh.
It's called an eye. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
It kind of does, doesn't it? There you go. Did they all fit? Awesome. All right. There's our first row of potatoes. That'll give us a nice head start for the farmer's market. Good job, Gabe. What are the little things on them called again? You got it, kiddo. Do you like potatoes?
God.
These guys keep knocking their netting down, so they keep getting out every day. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Yeah, there's our problem. It's been so wet that the ground won't hold the stake up anymore. And they're taking full advantage of that. This bird is so pretty. I love this one here. I think it's an Americana or an Easter egg or one of those. She's beautiful though. Alright, when they act real broody, I do try to get them out of the coop and break them so they can go get some water. So it's pretty early in the afternoon. I already got about 13 dozen eggs. I'll take it. Alrighty, back to the greenhouse. Gonna get everything, just a little bit of water here. This lettuce here, we should be making our first delivery this week to that restaurant, so very excited about that. Really happy with how this lettuce has turned out. I've been eating on it all week. It's delicious. Now we've just got to figure out how to grow a whole lot more of it. Alright, I'm going to leave it there, guys. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm going to head inside and do some meal prep for the week. Got some pulled pork nachos and a chicken burrito recipe on tap, so excited to try those out. We didn't quite get done everything we wanted to get done this week, but that is the story of our lives in April and May. We always have so much to do. Didn't get the coops moved. That's going to be something we'll probably do weeknights during the week. I've got softball practice and track practice and all these other things we got to squeeze in. So living life as a homestead family is a little bit on the hectic side this time of year. Overall, so very excited and grateful to finally get some things into the garden. I cannot say how much relief it is to get a handful of trays out of the rotation so that I can move some things into their spot. It's almost like a spring cleaning of sorts. Lots of busy weeks ahead. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't, make sure to hit like and subscribe. This is Courtney from Ruby Red Farm, and I hope you all have a great day.